All right, so we're going to start chapter 2 with solving equations only using addition and subtraction. So last chapter, in chapter 1, we were only simplifying to get an expression as small as we possibly could, and now we're going to actually start solving for an answer. And anytime we talk about equations, now we're going to start seeing that equal sign. So we're going to start today by having you guys try these on your own and then checking your answer, but we're going to come back to our menu math. So you've got 3 equations here, but the person that took the order got something wrong. So for example, number 1, we know that C is probably this cheeseburger, but what the heck is D? So your job is to figure out what that mystery item is, what was the mistake, and then come back and check your answer. So now we're going to check our answers here. So we have D was, so what was missing was $1.50. What was missing here was $1.20. What was missing here was $2.25. So you might have done this a different way than I did. We're going to talk about this method of doing the opposite operation to get that mystery item or that variable by itself. So let's figure out what this is. Can you identify the mystery item? So the mystery item in number 1 was a hamburger. The mystery item in number 2, $1.50, that's some French fries. And then the mystery item over here, $2.25, that was an extra large soda. Okay, so hopefully you got those right. If not, we're going to practice that today. So what I just talked about here, the method that I used to figure out what that mystery item was in order to undo my addition problem, all of those were addition problems, I used the opposite operation, which was subtraction. So that's going to be key here. Even though you think you might have, maybe you can do some of these in your head. Knowing that you're doing the opposite operation to get to that variable or that mystery item all by itself is huge. So one that I didn't practice in that beginning example is if my problem is subtraction originally, then I'm going to undo that by doing the opposite, which is addition. So today is all about doing the opposite operation to get the variable all by itself. So this is super important. We're going to say this all the time in our equation unit. Your equation must stay balanced, okay? So if you notice what I did on that first page here, or the first section, I had to do the same thing on both sides. If I wanted to figure out what this mystery item was, I had to subtract 2 on this side of the equation and subtract 2 on this side of the equation. Okay, so we're going to talk about keeping our equations balanced. All right, so let's try some of these examples. So now I've got a subtraction problem. When I talk about balancing my equation, this is how I would like to see you guys all start. It might seem silly with a 1-step equation, but we're going to get into like 5, 6, 7-step equations. So separating your equation is going to be a great place to start. So if I want to try to get x all by itself to figure out what that equals, I'm going to try to get rid of this minus 45. So to do that, I'm going to do the opposite operation, and I'm just going to add 45 on both sides in order to keep my equation balanced. Okay, so I'm going to add 45. Doing that cancels this out on this side. I get rid of it over here. So this is gone. Negative 45 plus 45 is 0. So all I'm left with on this side of the equation is x. Now I need to figure out what this is going to give me. So I'm going to have a positive 33. Okay, so x equals positive 33. And if I plug that back in for x, I can make sure that my answer is correct. So 33 minus 45 does give me negative 12. Alrighty? All right, let's try another one. So again, I'm going to separate my 2 sides. I'm going to balance my equation. I need to get n by itself this time. So I need to focus on this negative 6. Remember to always take the sign in front. So I'm going to get rid of a negative 6 by adding 6 on both sides. Remember, you're always taking the sign in front of the number that you're trying to get rid of. I know I see a positive here or a plus sign, but that's with the n, not with the 6. Okay, so negative 6 plus 6 gives you nothing, so I'm left with n. And 11 plus 6 gives me 17. Okay? Now, these two, I'm going to try this one with you, have you try the last one on your own. Continue to separate your equation, and look at this one's written backwards, so it's important that I know what I'm trying to do here. Now, whenever I see 2 negatives, I'm going to go ahead and add the opposite. So this is really 7 plus m. So if I'm trying to get rid of a positive 7 to get m by itself, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to subtract 7 on both sides. Okay, cancels out. 7 minus 7 is nothing. I'm left with m. Negative 3 minus 7 is going to give me a negative 10. So I can leave it like this. It's a little backwards because my variable was on the other side, but that's okay. So m equals negative 10. Okay? All right, last one I'd like you to try on your own. Be careful of this, and then check your answer when you're done. So our answer here, add the opposite. I'm going to subtract 10 on both sides. So x is equal to negative 8. All right, nice job, guys. We'll do lots of practice with this. Good luck.